Terror by the Bay, I'm David. All right. I wasn't envisioning throwing cards on Chinese hackers today, but here you go. Here we are. FBI Director Chris Wray warned that Chinese hackers are preparing to wreak havoc on U.S. critical infrastructure. That through basic security flaws, hackers have managed to work their way into water treatment plants, electrical plants, that sort of thing. He didn't. He it was vague as to when, if and when what would cause them to strike. I don't know if they would do it election times or who knows. But I want to look at the threat of this. The U.S. and China is currently negotiating on many items, and this is probably just another leverage ploy here. I mean, there's also election interference that we can expect coming up in the fall of 2024. But let's look at the general energy of Chinese hackers, U.S. infrastructure, entertainment purposes only. If this video is glitched out, you know the Chinese hackers found my channel and weren't entertained. Oh, lordy. That's a card to start off with, the devil. Clearly, it's all Trump's fault. No. It's kind of like, my first thought is, this is the devil's the one you know, right? Or something. How's that saying go? The U.S. has been lax in their security, and now we're at the mercy of the devil. And this is not to say the Chinese are the devil, but if they've worked their way into our wastewater and electrical grids and stuff like that, they're not doing it to improve things. They're doing to cause disruption and chaos and suffering. So, our lack of defense has brought this on ourselves. We can take the chains off. It's going to take a lot of money. It's going to take a lot of effort. And there's going to be a lot of diplomacy that needs to go in there to improve Chinese and American relationships. And maybe that's going to be the spiritual lesson on all this. But, we got a problem and we've got to solve it. Doing nothing is not an option. Knight of Pentacles. Interestingly, in Temperance. Interestingly, I looked it up the other day. Do you realize that Joe Biden has never stopped the trade war with China? The one that Donald Trump started. I can't find any stories that show the United States has backed away from this trade war. And it might be that the trade war really is hurting China's economy. And if China's economy is hurting, they might start hurting other people around them to spread the pain and the suffering. So maybe there could be some financial deals that are made to ease things up on China's economy. There's something of value that needs to happen here. And underneath is Temperance. To me, Temperance is the diplomatic solution. It's slow. Just like the money, this would be slow. But working and improving relationships with China and having the hackers back out of the system. Here's your wastewater system and your energy too. But this is detoxification. This is about as toxic a card as you can get. So here's the toxicity. Here's how we're trying to get out of that toxicity. And here's kind of the challenge. Money and, largest economies, the two largest economies in the world, and the competition that comes with that. In the past, we got the Three of Pentacles. To me, this is, my first thought was, backroom dealing, but this is probably how the hackers got in. They got in through the back door. They're in there, and some of these hacking things, it's ransomware. Pay us a ransom, or you'll never see your files again type of thing. But this isn't ransomware. This is kind of we're into your critical systems. What are you going to do about it? Nothing you can do about it now. We're in. Another three. The second three here. Three of Wands. current situation, looking overseas, I do think that the U.S. and China, there's diplomacy that needs to be had. The overseas could be where the hacker's located. The overseas is, the U.S. and China are on different sides of the world. Shipping, trade, economic powers on different parts. There's action that needs to be taken. I think the U.S. would probably be well served if they were sending diplomats over to China, especially China's so freaking butthurt over Taiwan right now that they need some victories to save face. Overarching energy is the Queen of Swords. Maybe not the card that you want here. A decision needs to be made. This could be the U.S. The U.S. Okay, this is Christopher Wray's very stark warning. Okay, I'll leave it at that. I was going to say maybe this is a diplomacy thing. I think this is just Chris Wray saying, hey, look, we've got problems here. And I'm letting everybody know. It's not in the back room, keep it hush-hush type thing. It's out front. And we're going to talk about it because something needs to be done. And if the American people are made aware of it, then the likelihood of something being done increases. If it stays in the background, nothing happens. The lesson to be learned from the overarching energy in the current situation is the High Priestess. It's divine feminine wisdom. It's asking the questions and getting the answers. So, in diplomacy, it's so frustrating because diplomacy is like asking questions without asking questions. It's not very direct. Direct diplomacy is viewed as weakness, or they look for the minutia between the minutia, and somewhere between the nuance and the minutia is more nuance and minutia. Who's got time for that? Outcome is justice. If the FBI starts looking into this, they might find if anybody in the United States was aiding the hackers and might prosecute them. I do think that we're going to have to step. It's going to be a dual pronged approach. You have to have diplomacy and you have to increase your defenses. If you've got spies, you got to root them out and bring them to justice. If these are public entities or something like that, the federal government might have to put some more funding into whatever government agency helps with cybersecurity and increase requirements for cybersecurity for critical infrastructure so that we are not as vulnerable to this going forward. I mean, come on. Who didn't wake up this morning wanting to talk about Chinese hackers and U.S. critical infrastructure? Who had that on their bingo card today? Okay. What does China want out of this? Maybe just give them Taiwan and they'll be happy. Wheel of Fortune. No. Yeah, well that's something. Yeah, that's part of it, but that comes later. That's once we're engaged. That'll be the wedding present, Sorry, dark humor. I am not advocating for surrendering Taiwan to China. Okay, what does China want out of this? Improved relationships, or at least the perception of improved relationships. Again, I think. Let's see, what's driving that? Is that economics? Queen of Cups, the Moon card, Eight of Wands. There's your economics. And Nine of Coins. They want diplomacy. They want the U.S. to come visiting and discussing this. This could be for, again, we could be talking about tariffs or trade agreements, things along those lines. They're not revealing what they want right now. It's kind of a mystery as to what they want. They're keeping a lid on it. They've got secrets. And it could just be that, if you come and negotiate with us and we come to something that's helping China out, we will reveal some of the secrets and pull some of the stuff back. This Eight of Wands is it's like communication quickly. Basically, I think what they're saying is, if we can come to something agreeable that helps out China, China will call off the hackers. I have a hard time believing, or at least they'll put a lid on it or promise not to do something with it. Because I can't picture a scenario where China would give up that leverage. You know? Or they'll promise not to hack, and then it's up to the U.S. to improve their systems. That type of thing. But I think China right now has economic woes that they need to resolve, because when you've got a few billion people in your country and the economy's really bad, they get angry and they want to blame somebody. And the people they blame are usually the corrupt government officials. And there's not nearly as many of those as there are angry peasants with pitchforks and torches. It's long been considered that the Chinese government lives in absolute fear of its citizenry because they're so greatly outnumbered, which is why they have to control Google and everything along those lines, so that the citizenry are fed a steady diet of propaganda. And there's the Ace of Swords that popped up. Or else, yeah, they're going to take up arms and take down the government and install some form of democracy, probably. How will the U.S. handle these requests from China? Victory. Making a big show of it. This could be the look at me card. This is the victory. I don't think the U.S. is out here trumpeting a victory over China. I don't think that's it at all. I think it's kind of like it's like giving China a win on something, or we both get a win on something. There's your money, working harder with the finances and things along those lines. The theft. Oh, interesting. The Five of Swords. God dang. And the Five of Cups. Okay, what the hell is this? First thing that comes to mind is technology being stolen, secrets being stolen. I think, there was that whole thing with China and Canada in 5G, and I forget the name of the tech company. There was that whole rigmarole that was going on, but you got theft and winner takes all and money and disappointment. How do tariffs fit in there? Okay, so I think underneath it, it could very well be the U.S. likes the tariffs because it's really putting a lot of leverage on China, and they don't want to give that up. But at the same time, if they give that up and China gives this up, we're coming out the winners on this one. Central underneath this is the theft, the sneaking in card. So this is the hacking. This is them sneaking into our systems and basically owning them. Like, what are you going to do about it? We have full control over your infrastructure. And that's going to cause all sorts of political headaches for the U.S. And not to mention, the economy is doing well. And if you crush this infrastructure, you're going to throw the financial markets into turmoil. Now, does that hurt the U.S.? Sure. Will that hurt China? Probably. Will it hurt China more than the U.S.? I don't know. I don't know if it's in China's best interest to do that, but China might do it just to flex and take the U.S. down a notch in the world with their their reputation and their invincibility. It's showing a lot of vulnerability there. Okay. Is there a happy ending that comes out of all this? Is there a happy ending? Or what's the happy ending that comes out of all this? Sorry, Taiwan. What's the happy ending that comes out of all this? The money. Okay, we're back to that. Yeah, I think there's money that changes hands. Maybe tariffs start getting lifted. Trade starts improving. There's the victory card. These cards start to look familiar. Lots of horses, too. Judgment. Seven of Wands. And the strength card. Okay. Mastery, strength, money. Honestly, I think in the end of the day, if the tariffs are still in place, I think the tariffs are going to start getting lifted. It's time to lift the tariffs. We've had our our stare down and such. It's time to end it. Both sides can declare victory if they want to, and it's time to move on and compete with each other in an open market, not under terroristic threats. Again, I think maybe the U.S. is a little bit reluctant or has been reluctant to get rid of the tariffs because maybe they actually have had a bigger impact on China than they have had on the U.S. But, China's got some Trump cards. And they had Trump. And since we all know Joe Biden's completely owned by China, he'll just roll over, right? Funny how that hasn't happened. Nobody's running around saying China, 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 and Biden's not running around saying how Xi Jinping is the greatest, strongest, most powerful president ever, and the love affair that Trump had with Putin. It's just a messed up situation, but it's politics, it's intrigue, it's spycraft, it's blackmail. May you live in interesting times. Maybe we can all get along, and that might be useful too, huh? That'd be a novel thing to try. Anyways, we'll leave it here. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. Thank you for your likes and your shares and your comments and everything you do to feed the YouTube algorithm so that my video makes it out to a wider audience, to folks just discovering this channel recently or for the first time. Welcome to the channel. I hope you found this reading insightful, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.